From Washington, this is VOA News. Coming up, the latest on the Ukraine crisis. Afghan guard kills U.S. doctors in Kabul. Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Norman. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry says Russia has not taken a single concrete step, in his words, to de-escalate the crisis in Ukraine, and he is warning that Moscow's refusal to rein in armed pro-Russian separatists in eastern Ukraine will be an expensive mistake. Mr. Kerry spoke a short while after Russia called on the United States to force Ukraine to halt its ongoing military crackdown on armed pro-Russian separatists who are occupying buildings in eastern Ukraine. Moscow accused the Kyiv government of deploying military units and ultra-nationalist paramilitary units against the largely Russian-speaking population in eastern Ukraine. Syrian government airstrikes killed at least 27 people, injured many others at a market near the northern city of Aleppo. Activist groups, including the Britain-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, says government jets hit the crowded market in the town of Atareb, located in Aleppo province. Happened early on Thursday. Strikes are the latest in the Syrian government's bombing campaign against rebel-held areas in Aleppo that began in December. Meanwhile, in Damascus, the United Nations was allowed to resume food distribution inside the besieged Yarmouk camp after being blocked for 15 days. The Middle East peace process is in danger of collapse following a reconciliation pact between rival Palestinian factions and a tough Israeli response. Robert Berger reports from Jerusalem.
Israel's Security Cabinet decided to suspend peace talks with the Palestinian Authority after it agreed to form a unity government with the rival Islamic militant group Hamas. Palestinian President and Fatah leader Mahmoud Abbas rules the West Bank, while Hamas controls the Gaza Strip. With U.S.-mediated negotiations facing a deadlock, the two Palestinian groups decided to end a 7-year rift. That angered both Israel and the United States, which consider Hamas a terrorist organization. Robert Berger for VOA News, Jerusalem.
United Nations mission in South Sudan says 4 people were wounded Thursday when gunmen attacked barges bringing supplies to a UN base. This is the second time this month UN operations in South Sudan have been targeted following a mob attack at a UN base in the town of Bor on April 18th. UN mission says Thursday's attack took place as 4 barges steamed east on the Nile River carrying food and fuel to the UN base in Upper Nile State, where thousands of civilians have taken refuge from the violence. An Afghan security guard on Thursday opened fire at an international hospital in Kabul, killing some American doctors. Ayaz Gul reports.
Afghan Interior Ministry officials said the deadly attack occurred when an Afghan security guard opened fire at Kabul's Kyiv International Hospital. Ministry spokesman Siddiqui says the unfortunate incident is under investigation and the assailant's motives have yet to be determined.
The attacker was also shot by the other security guard, and he's now under the serious watch of police, but he's now in the hospital. We do not yet know the motives and the reasons behind this attack.
In a brief statement on Twitter, the U.S. Embassy says that with great sadness we can confirm that 3 Americans were killed in the attack on Kyiv Hospital. The shooting is said to have left a 4th U.S. citizen wounded. Ayaz Gul for VOA News, Islamabad.
Partial results from Afghanistan's April 5th presidential election showing former Foreign Minister Abdullah still in the lead without a clear majority that would rule out a runoff vote. Independent Election Commission said Thursday that so far in the vote count, Abdullah has 44%, and former World Bank official Ashraf Ghani has nearly 33%. The commission says nearly 83% of the votes have been counted. Final election results are due to be released on May 14th. More than 15 million people around the world have substance abuse issues, according to the World Health Organization. And here in the United States, health officials say the abuse of prescription drugs is worsening, and that deaths from prescribed painkillers have increased to more than 16,000 a year. They're calling for greater use of inexpensive and effective medications to treat what they are calling the epidemic of opioid addiction. Get more at voanews.com.